Before we start, let me clarify. The reason why I'm here is not, for Seun. No. The reason why I'm here is for this late chief, and the living chief, Wizkid. These are the two reasons why I'm here. The reason why, Fela Kuti is part of this, discussion, you will see it, after I discuss the two important men, right? So let's not dignify the little, the insignificant with, much response. First of all, I don't want to go back to what's happening or what happened, what triggered. I want to believe that the people watching me right now are the people who already knew what happened, who triggered who. And before I even go depth, I want to tell you something, that Nigerians lack something. There's something I've actually known about Nigerians. We know things but don't understand it. That is the reason why when we are told certain things, it affects us. Now, this word fool, who get them, like ghosts get them, the word foolish is for humans, right? Now, when somebody say you are foolish, it is your duty as a person, especially if that thing comes from, somebody who doesn't really just on a random, start insulting people or start giving people words. Ask yourself, do you deserve to be called foolish, right? Like, ask yourself, what did I do, they're foolish? Then you ask yourself again, am I close to 40 or am I above 40? That you see the thing, full of 40. Wow. I just want to excuse, that's, his reaction over that full of 40, because I don't see the reason why he should react over truth. That's by the way. Let me say this, you people don't actually hate comparisons. No. You people don't actually hate comparisons. You only hate comparisons when it actually threatens the picture you've been worshipping in your head. Because the moment somebody says Wizkid is bigger than Fela, everybody starts shaking like it's blasphemy. Nobody's actually shaking data. Nobody's actually shaking record. Bigger in what metrics? Bigger with what audience? I mean, these are the things we need to check. If it corresponds with fact, accept it as just go your way. We accepted Fela as the founder of Afrobeats. Nobody's changing that fact. So if there has been some legendary transformation in the industry, if there has been some legendary shift in the industry, also recognize that very person. Because if you want to argue like adults, we must separate history from today. Now let's face fact, right? Fela is the foundation, and nobody can take that away from him. Fela didn't do music. Fela built a movement, right? He used his sound like a weapon. He turned Afrobeat into some, national identity, some political identity. He made music more dangerous. He made the government uncomfortable with music. That's legendary. That's something nobody has actually done ever since then. Give it to Fela. But here's the part many Nigerians hate to admit. Many Nigerians here to listen. Founding something doesn't make you automatically own the future forever. It means you started a race, yes, but it doesn't mean that nobody can't overtake you. If nobody is actually passing you, then it means that your legacy is not growing, it's actually dying. Today, Elon Musk is projected, or even he don't reach $800 billion in dollars. It has never happened. In fact, if you see the magic way he give people way follow him, you get to realize that at some point there's going to be a shift. We used to have, who was the last person that was even there? The margin too high. This is not 1997. This is not the vinyl era. This is not one radio station controls everything era. This is streaming era, collaboration, global recognition, global collaboration, digital distributions, international tours, branding, charts, demand, global demand. And on the scoreboard, Wizkid is not just playing. Wizkid is winning effortlessly. If you don't want to clap, I'd give it to the young man. And before you start with this time and that time we are different, of course I admit. But let's not twist this very truth here. Wizkid did a lot of hard work. I've given him this recognition countless times here. He didn't wake up one day and become just global because he has a fine face, of course we know. He didn't become global because Nigerians pray for him. In fact, Nigerians never even remember that guy when he was even suffering. He became global because he positioned himself. He saw something people did not see. While many people were doing local hype, Wizkid was outside this very country, building serious leverage, making the world see Afrobeat in the light they've never seen it before. He made the world see modern Afrobeat in such a way that it's polished, standard, and exportable. So when data, facts, and people say that Wizkid helped shape modern Afrobeat, that's not vibe, that is the reality, that's data. Let me solve this matter of superiority, who has actually surpassed each other, who has actually grown more than each other. See, Fela laid the foundation, that's math one. Wizkid entered the building and started buying floors. And he didn't ask any single person for permission. That is where shame suppose they catch this shame, but we see they come there. Because to be honest with you, the music industry does not reward family name. It doesn't just, make it automatic for that very family unless you work hard. You think Seun Kuti was working hard enough, he get time to the drag Wizkid? The music industry rewards execution, dominance and relevance, as in, if you don't put this thing, like, if you are relaxed that my father was Fela, nobody go send you when the time comes. I don't know how this man will allow his narcissistic part to be very evident. Because while he was saying the things, I was seeing the narcissistic part of him. A young man where he's supposed to, now Seun is Fela's son, give it to him. Meaning, if there is anybody the world is expected to be bigger than life, bigger than Fela, it is someone like him. This is where the shame supposed to catch him. See, what Wizkid is today and what Fela was, and the image is still standing, right? The person Wizkid supposed to carry that glory, the shine, now this guy. But unfortunately, he didn't work hard. If this guy had applied little effort, like 5% of what the kind of hard work Wizkid actually invested in music, are you aware that the tours this guy goes is mostly on the basis of his father's fame? That's the reason why you check it. It's mostly festival, cultural things. The father made a very great name that if you tender your CV anywhere, as long as Anikula Bokuti did there, who know? That now what it is now the glory this guy did. Again, if there is anybody that is supposed to be what Wizkid is by the foundation his father created, is supposed to be Seun, not because he owed it, but because the lineage gives him the easiest access to that very throne. But the truth is this: Seun did not take that throne from anyone. Wizkid did. I will tell the paper. And the funny thing is this: if you check the kind of music he sings, it's really not in any way in connection to what the world demands currently. The problem is I cannot refuse the modern game and still get angry that somebody else is winning in that very modern game. If you don't want to play the pop culture, fine, but don't fight the very person that is winning in that very industry. Because the truth is this: Seun might be thinking that he's protecting the legacy. Wizkid is expanding the market. Two different missions, but one is actually louder in the world of today, and you must respect that. Yes, I agree, Fela is a cultural monument, but Wizkid is a global pop force. We can't even argue that. Fela greatness might not be about streaming numbers. Fela is respected, reference to history. But Wizkid's greatness is not about ideology. Wizkid is about reach, influence, visibility, and domination. So if we're using history's scoreboard, Fela wins. If we're using today's scoreboard, Wizkid wins by 50 to 100%. And there's nothing disrespectful in that. That is the problem. See, the present and the future doesn't ask much of history when the history is not going to be more beneficial. As long as the present has a dominating force, one thing Seun doesn't know is that he thinks that Fela died maybe 10 years ago. Let me tell you, brother, there are some generation that are existing right now. They don't know too, Baba. Let that make sense to you. They don't know too, but they might hear his reason. They don't know the history that has to connect him with blackface. They don't know those things. So if you are trying to protect what you're protecting by sounding so jealous, calm down with the emotions. It's not Wizkid's fault, it's just the market, it's just the demand of the young man. I need you to swallow this in like, bitter leaf soup. Fela planted the seed, Wizkid harvested in a better season, and they spotted it globally. So you don't have to cry when fans say Wizkid is bigger today, because bigger is not a spirit, brother. Bigger is numbers, bigger is reach, bigger is global recognition, bigger is dominance. And now on today's metrics in 2026, Wizkid is bigger. Bigger.